I Good afternoon from HOD headquarters from London, and today our session with a very important session about the COVID-19 scenario and HIV/AIDS affected people in Bangladesh. And as it's the first time, so we are taking strategic time out like for 1 minute, so we can gather our audience. So just wait for a minute. So we will join with our guest and audience. Just wait for a minute. And meanwhile, just watch a promo video from House of Youth Dialogue to get your idea what is House of Youth Dialogue is. See you. Hi, welcome again. So some of our audience already joined. So today's session is a special session because in every Friday, House of Youth coming in English, and rest of the day in our week we come in different language. So today our guest is, we have two guests, and we have special session about the HIV affected people in Bangladesh and what are their scenario in this COVID-19 scenario. So before going to start this event, I just invite our main host of this event today, that he is Junaid Nur Alam. He's joining from Bangladesh, Dhaka, and he's the CEO of House of Youth Dialogue. Let's welcome Zunu Bhai, Junaid Nur Alam. Hi, Zunu Bhai.
Good evening, everyone. I am Junaid Nur Alam, the CEO of House of Youth Dialogue. Welcome you all from Dhaka.
Thank you, Zunuvai. And before, I think you can start your session right now. I'm leaving, and we have two guests. So welcome them, and best of luck for the session, Zunuvai.
Thank you, Akon. Hello, everyone. This is Junaid Nur Alam, as I've stated earlier, and welcome to yet another exciting hello?
Yes, Zunuvai, we're listening.
Hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So yes, welcome to another yet interesting episode of Superhero Story. And today's story is a bit different because, as we know, we are going through a pandemic, and in adverse situation like this, we tend to help the people who are in dire need and in desire states. So today's superheroes belong to this network known as PLHIV, or People Living with HIV. So network of PLHIV is a community-based non-profit organization in Bangladesh working with government and other development partners for HIV infected and affected people since 2006. They raise the community voice and to establish their rights in awareing people about HIV-infected issues. The entire population who are infected and affected with HIV/AIDS in Bangladesh, and some community-based organization, those working for HIV prevention, are the members of this network. In all over the country, PLHIV network are doing several types of activities throughout the year to prevent HIV and AIDS, such as different types of skill-based training, counseling, monitoring, awareness building, and leadership program to strengthen the network, as well as advocacy with the government and non-government organization, as well as national and international other helping organization. Policy making and several types of events are held by these NGO so that they can raise more awareness. And today we have two of the senior members of this organization. Firstly, I would like to welcome Mohammad Hafizuddin Munna, the General Secretary of Network of PLHIV and an alternate board member of Bangladesh Country Coordination Mechanism or BCCM. Let's welcome first Hafizuddin Munna. Also, we have
Thank you, Zunaid Bhai. Thank you so much, and this is an honor to being here with you. And thank you, HYD, for being us a part of this program. Myself, Hafizuddin Munna, as you mentioned, and I am the General Secretary of PLHIV Network. Shortly, it is NOP Plus, and PLHIV Network is, as you mentioned before. So PLHIV Network is a community-based organization. So I think I will brief shortly about the network and our activities after, so that people or the audience can understand about the organization and what kind of activities we are doing here.
So, welcome, Munna. Thank you for being with us. So,
thank you.
With that, may I welcome our next guest. This next guest is an inspiration to the youths of today. He's a very, I would say, a modernized young man, but he's into politics and he is one of the youngest Upajala chairmen in Bangladesh from Kumilla. He is Dr. Asanul Alam Kishore, an executive board member of the network of PLHIV. He's also a board member of Bangladesh Country Coordination Mechanism, BCCM, and also a member of Oversight Community Member of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. He's also a Youth Ambassador of Peace in the Universal Peace Federation. He is the Secretary of Bangladesh Awami League Volunteer League. He hails from St. Andrews College, Cambridge. So let's welcome Dr. Asanul Alam Kishore. Thank you, Kishore Bhai. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, good evening, namaste, Shashrikar, everybody who's watching us from everywhere around the world, especially people in Bangladesh and all my friends. Also, we have Mr. Zaid here, who's welcomed us from UK. I suppose he's somewhere in East London. All of my friends and everybody who's listening to us, I really am humbled by your effort to reach us out, even though it has somehow not, the name does not suit say my position. It says heroes, superhero story. So I would imagine we'd be listening to a lot of superhero stories, and so I'm quite inspired. But if you do think that this is a superhero story that we are supposed to tell, I am nowhere near in that league. But that's very nice of you for inviting us in this show, and the work that we are doing in this corona times, in these pandemic times, in these terrible times of our mankind that has faced so far in at least our generation. The work that you guys are doing offline or online, some people can do it online, some people can do it offline, whichever way is possible for you. I do appreciate and applaud this fantastic effort that you guys have put together to reach us out and put our words out there. So we have some experience that we can share with you, because knowledge means nothing if it's not shared. So you can share some knowledge, people can join us, and I can share some of my experience. So that's a fantastic platform. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Again, to Zunaid Bhai and Zahid Bhai, both here.
Yes, Kishore Bhai. Okay. So another point, interesting point I want to point at is that today's topic is a bit different. It's somewhere it's a bit taboo because we don't like to talk about it, but it's a very important and crucial issue for us. So if I want to ask Munna, what was the reason to start this organization and who were behind it?
Okay, that's a very good question and demanded question. Like, first HIV case identified in 1989 in Bangladesh. So it was a history when a HIV patient came from, a migrant patient came from the other country in Bangladesh, who carried the disease. Actually, after that time, the HIV/AIDS spread it in our country, and that time there was no organization to establish their rights, to raise the voice for their basic rights and their treatments and other things. At that time there was no treatment in Bangladesh. So the few guys, I must mention a name, a person who actually started this journey. Her name is Habib Akhtar. He established an organization named Ashar Alo Society, and there are few more people like Mr. Ali and Mr. Nicholas, and there are some people who started who started an NGO, actually community-based NGO, to help those people so that they can get the treatment, so that they can get their rights. So that's why they started for the mankind this type of community organization, which will work for the HIV infected and affected people. And then after establishing the Ashara Society, they actually established a community-based network for it's a which is non-profit organization for the holistic whole country's HIV/AIDS patients or HIV/AIDS infected affected people and the key population in Bangladesh, so that they can have their rights, they can have their basic rights, they can have the treatment. And in that time there was no treatment, there was no medicine, and they actually managed the medicine from the other country. They bought the medicine from Thailand, India, and other countries, and their own way. Government didn't own the program that period, actually.
Okay,
So
that's a very
it was
interesting
a
part.
private organization and the community-based organization, and the PLHIV network. That time, PLHIV network, after the establishment of PLHIV network, PLHIV includes all the HIV positive members in the umbrella, so that in a one umbrella, all the people can stay and can raise their voice for their rights and for their treatment, and against the stigma and discrimination about HIV. At that time, the stigma and discrimination was a very high stigma and discrimination, because people know it was known that HIV is a deadly disease. HIV, but it was actually this type of initiative proves that the message HIV is a deadly disease, it's a wrong message.
Thank you.
HIV is preventable.
Thank you, Munna. Thank you very much.
To prove this, that HIV people can live live like a general people, live like a people as usual in general people. HIV is not a disease, is like other diseases. So to prove this and to establish their rights, to achieve their rights, and to remove stigma discrimination, this organization actually established in 2006. So from 2006 we started the journey, and in 2016 I actually got the responsibility to hold this organization.
Indeed. Thank you, Munna. If we come to Kishore Bhai, if I may ask you, what was the motivation that you joined this organization? Because I believe you're very busy with your politics and your other professional life as well. So what made you and what motivated you to join this organization?
Well, I do have quite a elaborate political involvement and social activities, social life.
Yes.
Because I have one of the largest upajalas in the whole of Upajala. By the way, if there's someone watching from outside who doesn't know what's Upajala, it's a sub-district council. Like in every other country, especially in the UK, we have districts and sub-district councils. Or if in the US, if you were like a senator or a councilman, it would be like a councilman. So yeah, Upajala mine is one of the biggest in the Bangladesh, second largest, which got 22 union porishos and
That's a big
over 7 population. So I do stay quite busy, and I like to stay active, like compared to any other chairmen or any other political leaders of our time who are quite they are quite experienced, and of course they're quite senior. It's easier for me to reach out to my people, so I like to do a lot of the groundwork myself. Like for example, right now in the COVID situation, the first person who got diagnosed positive with corona in my constituency, I was there to go and visit him. And initially, there was early stages where everybody was really scared of corona and did not know what to do. Unfortunately, in his family, himself and his whole entire family, his 86-year-old mother, his dad, his brother, his son, his wife, everybody got corona positive. Through contact tracing, we did find out. And everybody recovered, including his 86-year-old mom. In the beginning, we were. This was the stage when we thought anybody who had corona would die, So, or especially elderly persons. So it was very surprising knowing that an 86-year-old woman survived. But the sad thing was the next day, the day they got the report saying first negative, the next day the first person who got positive, the son in the family, he passed away. Unfortunately, because of his underlying other medical conditions. And it was sad because there was the first mortality in Muradnagar from COVID, and nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew how to approach. Nobody knew how to touch the corpse if you're going to do the proper burial procedures and all that. So I had to go there myself, and we actually performed the washing process and the janaza with the help of Islamic Foundation Imam, who maintained safe distance and did it. And I had to get in the grave and lower the body. So there's a bit of a difference. I like to do this work all by myself. I instead of sending somebody on my behalf, I like to get there myself. So that's why it's difficult for me to spare time, even for my family, who as we speak, do not are not by my side because of my extensive involvement in politics. I don't get to give them any time. So they live in the UK at the moment. My 3 kids and my wife are residing in the United Kingdom. But that gives me enough time to be able to work. Say, for example, with this fantastic network, Asha Allah Society was founded by Habiba Appa, who actually was one of the first people who I met in Bangladesh who could even talk about HIV. It was a big stigma and discriminatory thing. Nobody wants to talk about HIV. HIV is like a bad thing. It was refreshing for me when I met Habiba Appa, and she was the first one, especially being a lady and also a very well-educated lady. She inspired me to think that it's okay to be able to work. If you want to save some people, if you want to work with people, it's not a problem with working with HIV. Mind you, I grew up in an era where black and white televisions were still very uncommon. They used to have one in the whole village, one in the area that everybody used to come and watch. We used to have phones that used to dial around, and we used to think that anybody having any kind of HIV related stuff is somebody that we can never speak of. So Habib Appa speak about it, and unfortunately one of my very close family members got infected of HIV. My khala, that is my maternal auntie, she got a HIV positive from surgery and blood transfusion, infected blood transfusion from a profound hospital. It was Ibn Sina hospital that she had her operation in, and we suspect that the blood came from there during her operation. But anyway, she then, because nobody knew about this, there was the doctors in Bangladesh that she tried, all the doctors. She was a teacher in Scholastica, if you know about the school. It's a very well-known school in Bangladesh. And her husband is a diplomat, also a graduate from Cambridge University. So being very highly educated and all that, the discrimination still were lurking over their head. So
I'm sure.
When there was any possibility or any thought, even in the farthest away thought that there could be HIV related problem, immunodeficiency related problem, nobody suspected, nobody even went that way. Even the doctors in Bangladesh, they all made all the diagnoses and all the tests, and said that it was celiac disease. She had problems with digestion. She had problems with this, that, but nobody ever tested her for HIV until in the final stages where the doctors in Bangkok had diagnosed her of HIV. And even after that, it was such a big issue that we could not bring her back to Bangladesh. We had to leave her, and her family moved to Bangkok and stayed there for a prolonged period of time when she was going under medication, and unfortunately then she did not make it through. And then even when she was returned back to Bangladesh, when she came back to Bangladesh in the last stage, when the hospitals in Bangkok said there was no hope for her because she's been in coma for some time, so take her back to Bangladesh in the coma stage. So we got a plane, what you call them, the air ambulance planes, and hired one out and sent her back to Bangladesh. And in Bangladesh, the treatment, though she, I think, lived in Bangladesh for the last 1 month of her life in a subdued state, and the treatment that she received, even from family members or anybody that we knew, it was
I'm sure that has been very hard on you.
shocking. That's when I realized that that's where my inspiration came from. That I thought I would like to do something about it, and that's also the fact that I met Habib Appa, who was really a game changer for me, especially in Bangladesh. I got that was my link to be able to do so. I wanted to do something for this community since my auntie died, but I did not get an opportunity or did not know how or where could I speak about it. But Habib Papa gave us that platform, and from there, I've been working with HIV-related people, and with Munabha and all this group of fantastic people. Right now in Bangladesh, we say, according to figures, around 5,000 positive cases are there, but there is, of course, in the case of a large number of people who are also undiagnosed, and the sampling or the testing is not very easy because there's still a lot of discrimination and stigma in our community. To be able to work with this PLHIV people or network,
I was
we
just
can do it today, it's very difficult.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I was just coming to the next question, which brings me the data you just gave me, 1989 to 2020, a long time. We have come across a long time, and moreover, you have seen, as you have just said, we have from the black and white TVs to the this curved TVs. So it's a long time and long process, and long technologies has developed, medical science has developed. So what do you say about the current stage and current scenario of the HIV infected people in Bangladesh? Are they okay? What are their states? Is it still a taboo or what?
Okay, so the question is to me.
Anyone can answer. It's open for both.
So I should start and then Kishore Bhai can supplement. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
The thing is, as Kishore Bhai said, we are inspired from this. Some of the person like Habib Appa, Khurshid Bhai, he was in also. When I met Khurshid Bhai, he was actually involved with the UNAIDS Bangladesh. He was working. Khurshid Bhai is in Australia now. So this type of person inspired us to involve this type of organization. But what we saw after engaging the community, we saw there is a lot of stigma and discrimination. There are thousands of stories, like Kishore Bhai described a story. The person who came from the abroad, they're being separated from the families, and they're stigmatized from everywhere, even the hospital. If you go to the hospital, the doctor will not treat you, the doctor will not diagnose you, and in the past time there was no treatment in Bangladesh. But thanks to Bangladesh government, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, that the government owned the project right now. The government is doing very well. Couple of years, like 10 to 8 to 10 years, like the government is doing very well. But in the beginning, there was so many stories, struggling story, and people was like treating us like a beast, a kind of animal, because people was everybody was treating like he is not a human. He don't have the right to stay in the society. He or she don't have the right to educate.
But I would argue, I would say, Munna bhai, this was because this was done by us. You know, we in the beginning when HIV came around to try to raise awareness against HIV, the media that had portrayed a very demonic image of
Exactly.
HIV, and
Yes.
also made it because it's the transmission process. It's not. It's the most common transmission process is by sexual contact. That's why, you know, there was a big
Yes.
taboo. We feel still these days. I mean, in our generation, might be a little bit different. We cannot talk to our children about sex.
No.
These days,
Not at
the
all.
Prime Minister has introduced sexual education in school, primary school stages as well,
That's a very good
which is a
thing,
good
you know.
thing.
Yeah, we need that.
This is the reason.
Also
This is
we
the
have
reason.
some religious barriers, social barriers. So basically right now in Bangladesh, estimated PLHIV is about 1400 14,000, like and we identified 7,000 plus PLHIV. We diagnosed that they are identified actually,
Okay.
but and half of the people is unreachable still now, and and more than 5,000 people we get under treatment. We actually took them in under treatment. Around more than 5,000 people is right now treating HIV treatment, like that receiving ARV, antiretroviral therapy, ART medicines, and they are receiving some psychosocial treatment and some counseling and some OIS medicine. That means the other necessary medicine. Then they're living very comfortably like the other people. They don't have disease.
Do we
And
have at this moment? Sorry, Munna, sorry to interrupt, but do we have
okay.
enough doctors, specialized doctors, to treat HIV patients at this moment?
Yeah. In the past time, there was no HIV specialist doctor, but right now in Bangladesh, there are so many specialist doctor. Like I should mention about a name like Professor Dr. Nazrul Islam sir did a lot to develop this structure, and another one is from Chittagong, Professor Shirajul Islam sir. They both are the most senior doctor in this country. Professor Nazrul Islam sir was the VC of BSMMU, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical College University.
So how many hospitals do we have at the moment?
Let me just answer Zunaid very quickly. There is no actual specialist for HIV. You don't really need to be a HIV specialist. You have an epidemiology. If you have an epidemiologist or a virologist or a medicinal doctor, they're good enough to understand how this virus works, just like any other medicinal discipline. The only thing is with the HIV, you need to have the understanding and go over the barrier of the discrimination. That is not limited for doctors. You know, we have discrimination from lawyers, doctors, engineers, from family members. That is a barrier we have to overcome. There's not a problem with the medical service. There's a medical support is sufficient. We have the doctor's expertise we have in Bangladesh is sufficient.
So how many dedicated hospitals do we have for HIV? Do we have any dedicated hospital, or you can just walk into?
We have one hospital, but we have one hospital. It's called Infected Disease Hospital, IDH. In Bangladesh, so many people knows as Shattola Hospital, Mohakhali. But to be honest, the structure of this government hospital is not developed yet. But it was actually.
And what are the medicines? I mean, is the medicine being provided from the
standard hospital as it needs to be?
Yes, right. I want to learn one thing, that when I was kid, I was in Bangladesh actually. At the time, I watched a TV advertisement that "Baste hole jante hobe." So at that time, the knowledge about HIV, it's amongst our generation of people, it's like a deadly disease. Still now, my knowledge is like this. It's a deadly disease. If you get infected with HIV, you will die. There is no treatment or like this. Actually, this is our common knowledge. So is there any change about this? Is there any modern treatment about this? What is the condition of HIV?
Okay. I will tell you a very simple answer, my Zahid. There is 200,000 times more people dying in road accidents. Forget road accidents. There is about 10 times more people that die from falling from their bed compared to people who are dying from HIV in figures around the whole world in average. Now, of course, there's a balance. There's a lot more people who are dying in Africa, but that's only because there's such a big population. But these days, through HIV, even though the pandemic remains because we don't have any vaccine for it yet, but I'm very happy to tell you that people don't die of HIV anymore. People never died of HIV. People do die from other health conditions or other opportunistic viruses that come and attack in different vital organs because your immune system is suppressed. That's a scientific thing. But okay, even if you relate it to HIV, these days there is nobody dying, and we have medications which are fantastically working for long period of time. Some people last 10 years, 20 years in one regime, and then once one regime starts to grow drug resistance, the virus starts to grow drug resistance, you can go to another regime. So the medical support is fantastic. The Melinda Gates Foundation spends billions of dollars throughout Africa and developing countries. Even Global Fund, like the ones that is funding our Bangladesh Secretariat for Country Community Mechanism and this TB malaria HIV program. Even this current fiscal year, we received over $400,000 US to spend in this area. So a lot of money is coming in, which has helped. And now the only remaining problem that we had before, and right now it's a lot better. I mean, before only organizations like Asharalo and other voluntary organizations were the only ones who were working in this field. Government did not even want to recognize this problem of HIV. If HIV patient went to the hospitals, they didn't want to do anything about it. They just want to kick them out. Mm-hmm. But now, in the administration of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the government has dedicated themselves and taken over. They have actually taken initiatives to cut down non-government, non-profit organizations working in this with HIV, and the government is trying to take more of the responsibility themselves, because the government has means to outreach to all the people in all the areas, which private organizations sometimes they tend to take some money or something. There's other complaints of irregular practice when there's non-government organizations involved. There's a lot of scandals, you know about it all. I don't want to go into that. It's different politics, but the government has done a fantastic job that a lot of the district hospitals are where you can go and you can receive medical support or medical treatment or advice. Even for ART, the medication that you need, even until last year, people all over Bangladesh would have to come to Dhaka to come and centralize distribution system where you could come and get your ART. Now, ART is antiretroviral treatment. This is absolutely life-saving when you're infected person, because this is what you have to have.
And I'd like to add something with Kishore Bhai. Like as Kishore Bhai said, you know, in the past time or even in the recent time, our system was the system about the treatment system in HIV was like it was like the non-profit organization and private organization was they were giving the treatment to the HIV patient, but in from 2016 government hospital owned the treatment facility, and the other part like psychosocial treatment, counseling, the mental health support. Mental health support is providing the organization called Asharalo Society. We have some CB organization, implementing organization like Asharalo Society, Mukto Akash Bangladesh, CAP, Comprehensive Approach of HIV and AIDS. This type of a sports show, this type of organization is doing this. But
indeed, a great job.
I should talk about it. I should mention it, like you know.
Munna, I'll ask you a question here. I'll ask you a small question here, if you don't mind. So moving on to the main thing that, you know, the organizers, we know what you have been doing for the last 3 to 4 months. We want you to let the viewers know that why you guys are here today and how PLHIV is working throughout the pandemic, risking your lives and helping out these people who are in needs.
Yeah, of course. Before going to the answer, I must mention about the HIV/AIDS. What is HIV/AIDS? HIV is not a disease; it's a virus. in our body we have a cell, it's called CD4 cell, which protect our immune system. So what HIV virus can do after going inside your body, HIV virus kills the CD4 cell, which is protecting your immune system. So when HIV virus kills the CD4 cell, then your immune system getting down and down and down. Then you can have that some kind of disease like fever, like cholera, like there are different types of disease come out and you become HIV patient. So the treatment system, what they're doing right now, they actually the medicine. If you take the medicine regularly, your CD4 cell is increase day by day, and at once it became a 0%. That means your viral load testing will be 0. That means you don't have they will not find a single virus in your body once a time if you properly take the treatment, and after that you will be like general people. So there is no worry about it that HIV is a deadly disease. HIV is not a deadly disease. HIV is like a other disease, and it's like what we can call in Bangla diabetes.
I understand. We understand that.
It's like that actually.
It's not directly killing you, but it's helping other diseases to come aboard.
Yes.
So yeah.
And one surprising thing I should mention here, because like I am HIV positive and my wife is HIV negative. He is not positive. If we want to get married and if we want to birth a child, the treatment here is a treatment. It's called PMTCT, prevention to mother to child care. That the treatment, the facility will give a HIV negative patient.
Okay, hang on a minute, Muna. Muna, you mentioned that you are HIV positive, your wife is HIV negative. So if you are giving a birth a child,
okay,
so, but is there any chance? Is it clear that I should get affected by HIV positive? Because if my wife is HIV positive,
no. There is a treatment. That's what I am talking about.
Okay.
In Bangladesh, I should also inform you that in Bangladesh there are a lot of young people infected in HIV positive. There are several types of people actually infected. Higher class, lower class, there are many kind of, but if you take the treatment properly, you don't have the chance to infect the other person, like my wife or my fiancé or my girlfriend. They don't have the chance to infect.
If I make, okay, so the medical condition is like that. If I take the treatment, if I have the HIV positive, and if I do the sexual intercourse with any other person who is HIV negative, there is no chance to transmit this one.
You must first of all you must take the protection, and if you follow the PMTCT treatment, which can help you to give birth a HIV negative child. HIV negative means you don't have HIV, and HIV positive is you have HIV. So treatment, there is a treatment in Bangladesh that which is called PMTCT. The UNICEF is run the program actually. PMTCT, by PMTCT program you can give birth a HIV negative child if you are both HIV positive. Suppose me and my wife is HIV positive, and if we want to give birth a child, then we can give a HIV negative child by taking this treatment.
Okay.
There's a new motto these days. It's called if there is below 40 cells in your in your viral load in your body, if you do test, if your viral load remains below 40, it's untraceable. We call it untraceable. If it's untraceable, it's untransferable. That's the latest scientific discovery. That if it's not traceable, you do not transfer it. Maybe having baby or having sexual intercourse, or even if you are sitting with someone or you share something with another person, utensils or eating things or these kind of things. Unless you are doing a blood transfusion, there is a risk of transfusion of the disease. Other than that, if there's undetectable, that means it's untransferable or untransmittable. And like Munna said, even for positive parents, there is also a possibility of having a negative child, HIV-free child, by going through the PMTCT procedure during the mother's pregnancy period.
So what is actually PLHIV doing at this moment in the crisis? I mean, during the last 2 to 3 months.
So
well,
basically,
PLHIV, my friend, I'll tell you what PLHIV is. PLHIV is people living with HIV. Now, what people living with HIV are doing is just what you and me and Munna is doing. Just sitting at home, probably doing their best, doing normal. That's the thing. HIV people does not have to have a separate kind of a different type of lifestyle. If anything, I'm not sure if I should be able to say this without backing myself up with scientific data. I have noticed and I have read and about the people who are on ART or antiretroviral treatments. Their immune system is boosted up compared to other people who are like yourself. Your CD4 count or your like Munna was saying, your CD4 count means your ability to
immune system
against your immune system's count, basically CD4 level. Now, if CD4 is for a normal person stays around 600, 700, on a healthy day it will go up to 800. But these are cells that are reproducing your body, and depending on a good sleep or a bad diet or a lot of stress, this cells number can vary. Now, for a person who is on a regular ART and the viral load is being controlled, the virus has not generated or not developed any kind of cell mutation or drug resistance. In those people, the CD4 count remains a constant of above 400. Now, when you have a viral load, CD4 count above 400, it is very difficult for any other viruses or other infections to enter your body without having to go through this big barrier. Now, for a normal person, if you are exposed to COVID-19 virus and your immune system is already compromised, because when you go out, you deal with the seasonal flu, you're catching a fever or you're catching a cold, and in that time the COVID-19 virus comes and takes in. It's very easy for you because your immune system is already fighting with one disease or other problems around you. So people who are on ARTs, I have not yet heard of all the mortalities, people dying. I have not yet heard of anybody saying in the HIV community yet that they have contracted COVID-19 or had indeed expired of COVID-19. That is a encouraging thing that I'm trying to study on. I will obviously back it up with scientific data. Right now, it's unofficial, so I don't want to make it any kind of claims on it, but that is something to look for.
Okay, so I would like to come to the point through to the question: what HIV NOP plus, that means PLHIV network, is doing throughout this COVID pandemic? Kishore bhai knows, and we all knows very well that we are trying to help those people, those HIV positive people who is under our umbrella, is in the community. We are trying to help them actually. How we can help, how we are helping them, we actually giving them a food support. Like in every district and in every division we have a committee, we have a member. Like in Bangladesh we have a 5 divisional zone, we call it 5 zone, and in 5 zone we have some members to do their divisional activities. So in every division we gave them food support, and we managed it from our own, and some also some help from the other organization, individual people. Like as I said before, Kishore bhai himself, he helped more than 100 people, financial 100 people, around thousands of money. He also donated to the people.
I'll just say one thing. The money and the charity work, this is not, thank you very much for mentioning what we actually did from the beginning, like how we are successful. I would say it's a success story for us in dealing with COVID-19 so far, compared to other countries in our neighborhood and also Europe and America. Is from the very beginning, we made sure that we, like Munna was saying, we have a committee in the grassroots level, in the ward level, union level, sub-district level. We have committees who are constantly, from the very beginning. We had so far in Bangladesh over 15,000 expatriates that came in, that had the possibility. They were the possible carriers of the COVID-19 for transmission. We ensured that all the expats who returned were taken into quarantine effectively, enlisted, and the database was created.
Exactly.
Also, in the beginning, when that was primary, to isolate, to identify and quarantine those people who are positive or coming from outside. And again, after you find someone positive, to go further beyond through contact tracing within the family and within the community. That was also done very effectively. NOP, ourselves, within our community, within the PLHIV network, we made sure that we kept in touch from the early stages throughout the database, where in all over Bangladesh, whoever was in our list, that these people who are already HIV positive, we made sure that we stay communications and their medication are given to them on time, that they don't have to wait or come all the way to Dhaka to take their medicine. Also, the database creating, after you put them in isolation, obviously there's a problem with no work and no food supply, no emergency medicine supply. That for us, again, we had made a list of people who we are giving out to. Some charity people offered, individual like Munna, myself, everybody gave some money, gave some food, gave some clothes, gave some medicine, whatever everybody can give, everybody gave. And that distribution was also very important, because we had to, again, create a database so that there's no overlapping or any kind of wastage of the relief product that we're giving out. And after that, after the isolation, it was important to make sure the food is supplied and the medicine is reached out to them. Instead of them coming to us, we made sure that the medicine is sent out to them, or the food is sent out to them, so that they don't have to put themselves in any kind of risk of communicating the disease. And also, in my constituency, I can say we are trying to send out mobile test sample collection units. That there's like a pickup van that will go around and collect samples from different places, instead of having everybody to come to the central hospital. Also, the same way we are distributing.
Okay.
I think it's a great initiative taken by you, Bhaiya. Yes, indeed.
Also, telemed. We took part with telemedication. IT is a big thing for us now, because of IT, we could have telemedication, ensuring that people getting phone advice, or the doctors' health hotlines, they can give you advice for related to food and medication as well, staying at home. So that was also a very important move for PLHIV network, or even indeed the government themselves.
I add something with Kishore Bhai, like with this initiative, as Kishore Bhai said, first we made an exigency plan for COVID, to face the COVID pandemic, and then after this kind of initiative, like we also give them a support. We also give them a sensitization support, like we have some groups in emo groups, social media groups, and in social media groups we give them so many data, so that they can sensitize themselves, they can educate themselves about corona, about COVID-19, they can aware about it. So and also our social media, our official Facebook, and by call center, by calling them, we have a peer council. We call it peer council, and in every district, peer counselor, they actually counsel them, and by peer counselor we counsel the local the PLHIV community, and so that they can aware. Also, with these activities, we make sure that so that they can get the medicine. That's why we sometimes we communicate with, so that how they can get the medicine. Sometimes we courier the medicine, and the government, with the support of government system, courier the medicine to the district level hospital, or to the individual address, so that they can get the medicine. So the medicine is very important. For HIV people, you cannot miss the medicine for a single day, or single time. So that's why we majorly focused on that, so that they can get the medicine everybody, so that they cannot miss the medicine for a day. So beside this, we have some study, like right now we are doing an assessment study for HIV/AIDS people to know their yes.
Muna, sorry to interrupt. I have a question from one of our viewers. Would you like to answer it? What
Yeah,
problems
what
or side effects
problem or side
help
effect
in the
occur
medication
as
for
a
HIV?
result of taking the medication for HIV? Okay, so very good question. I should clear about it. When you will take the medicine first few months, like 2-3 months, it will have like side effects. A few side effects will be you will
What are the common
realize.
side effects?
Yeah.
What are the common side effects?
Yeah, it's a
I want
common side effect, but
what?
it's
What are
not a
the
side
common side
effect. I cannot say it's side effect, because it's a very powerful medicine. So it will take time to suit your body. The medicine will take 2-3 months time to suit your body. So that is very important to continue take the medicine continuously. After 2-3 months, it will be okay for you there, and then it will be no side effect. And day by day your health will be progressed. Health will be progressed day
I,
by day.
I will I will just add a little bit to it.
Yes,
There
please.
are side effects, as in, like Muna is saying, that of course it's a very high dosage antibiotic that you take for a long period of time. So initially, when you take it, it does cause you some kind of discomfort. Sometimes people do get a bit of a bad stomach. You might get a bit nauseous. You
Rash.
might feel vomiting tendency. You do feel you lose your appetite, so you don't really want to eat as much. So that affects and makes you have a bit of a abrupt weight loss. That's one of the signs of when your CD4 count is dropping or your viral load is increasing. One
Yes.
of the signs is either weight gain or weight loss. Both of them
Yes.
could be an indication, sudden weight loss or sudden weight gain. Most of the time is weight loss, especially in our countries.
Mhm.
So when that happens, that's also a sign. So when you start taking the medication, that also falls into one of the side effects, that you have a weight loss for a certain period of time until the body adjusts, and then later on, you start getting used to the medication and your food habits become normal and everything becomes normal. Now, depending on which regime of the drug you're taking, every
Yes.
individual drug has suitability or acceptability in your every individual body. How a certain same drug will work with me does not mean it's going to work the same way with Munna. So different people have different regimes, and through different regimes, there are different kind of side
Yes. There
effects.
are different types of
Some
several
very
types of
common long
medicine.
term, because you're taking a medication for a long time. So they have retinal sort of side effects, long-term effects on your kidneys, because continuously processing a very high load antibiotic through your kidneys and your liver is in a long term has side effects on them. Then that's why you have to always watch. Most of the people on a certain regime would have high creatinine level, but not higher to be a jaundiced, but just high enough to be just above normal, which shows that your creatinine level is high. That means your liver is getting a lot of pressure on it, so you might have an inflammation of your liver. That's something also you need to watch out for if you're on, when you're on long term. These are when you have this kind of effects,
Mhm.
this is happening because of the medication regime. Either you change your regime or you contact your doctor and get some kind of solution. Also,
Thank you.
even
Right.
even some kind of side effects which are not very some of them are unpleasant. Some of them you feel, and then you complain and you feel unwell and you don't go to see the doctor. But some of the side effects are prolonged usage of any kind of drug. You have lipodystrophy. That is one of the conditions where people tend to lose fat around their cheeks, around their face, and this is called lipodystrophy. And people tend to lose hair again, like you see when people take chemotherapy, because it's
Chemotherapy.
a much higher dose. You lose
Exactly.
hair and you have the side effects. Same thing with prolonged usage of antiretrovirals. You might
Yes.
have hair loss, and you might have lipodystrophy is a very common symptom for
Okay.
people who've been taking or been on ART for over 15-20 years. This is quite
Okay.
normal. So
So
yeah, there are
basically,
side effects. It depends on which drug you take.
and
Moving back to the prior topic, sorry, Muna, I would like to interrupt here. You
okay.
guys are doing a tremendous job for the last 3 months in helping the people in this pandemic situation. For this, you need a lot of monetary help, and saying that this is an unforeseen event that are being folded for the last 3 months, I'm sure you must be having a budget deficiency. So how are your donors responding to this situation, and what are you taking? How are you taking this donors? I mean, what are you doing, and how are you managing this stuff?
Okay,
Are
look,
you asking this
it's very
for
easy.
our network, as in PLHIV network, or for the whole of Bangladesh?
Or Bangladesh or this network?
Okay,
Well,
so
whole of Bangladesh, before
first
when
I
there
have
was Asharullah Society and other private organizations or NGOs which were dealing with it, the whatever foreign funds were like Bill Melinda Gates Foundation or Global Fund money, these NGOs were the ones who were main recipients or the PRs, principal recipients of this money, and they were the ones in charge to distribute and process the money. But since the government has come in and taken initiative, that a lot of that money is now controlled by the government. So as for ourselves, like Asharullah Society or PLHIV network, we do have to depend on a little bit of that money and a lot more
Yes.
on local donors that we all have, come up with and support.
Basically,
Yes.
I should give a data, Kishore bhai. Till now, we help around more than 500 people in PLHIV, and still now our process is ongoing. Like tomorrow from Dhanmondi, more 20 people will receive the food gift. It will last for 15 days for them. 20 family will receive tomorrow, like in every day, or like we are giving this type of this type of support. But the thing is how we managing this support. As I mentioned before, some of the organization, like I must mention about UNAIDS. I must mention about Save the Children, ICDRB, and government himself also, National AIDS and STD program, NSP it calls. NSP, I must thank to them. And some of the other private organization like Vidyananda Foundation, Chittagong Rotary Club, and some few members of our communities, and the other communities, and like individual person, some of individual, they all are donating us individually in a different way, and we are just writing proposals to them. And recently government is taking an initiative like in five government will give the donation for a year, like for 500 PLHIV, HIV positive. NSP will give the support, financial support for 1 year to them, those who are very poor in this PLHIV community, or this PLHIV. And the Save the Children and Global Fund is doing this. So this type of activities and this type of funding support is coming from the different organization, different person. But we have a big voluntary team, those who are working for no money. Actually,
That's a great
they don't
thing.
get paid. No one get paid. Even me and Kishore bhai, no one get paid actually.
I'm
So,
sure most of these works are voluntary.
so
I do get paid. I do get paid. I do get paid a lot of love and respect and
that's
Alhamdulillah for that.
uncountable dua from
that's
everybody.
the payment for us. That's the payment for us. So,
And you're being selfish. Kishore bhai, you're being selfish. You're depriving us of those.
Well, you're always welcome to come and join us to help. My friend, you can help people around in your community, and I'm sure they will give you a lot of blessing too.
Thank you.
but
Thank
I
you.
think that the high time is to raise our voice. Like young people should raise their voice for this type of community, and you will amazed to know that there are thousands of people in Bangladesh. It's not thousands. I must say millions of people who is in a risky position, who is in a vulnerable position to get HIV infection. Because there are a lot of Hijra, MSM, especially young people. If you see the current situation in Bangladesh, thousands of young people, those who are studying at university, college, or different area, or getting job in a bank, or in a different sector, they are getting HIV infection. So it's a very tricky situation, so that we should face it together. And As you know, as Kishore Bhai know and Jahid Bhai know, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is committed that by 2030 she will end HIV/AIDS from Bangladesh. That means she is committed to the World Health Organization. We call it 99-99-99. That means by 2030 Bangladesh will be achieve HIV preventable country, will achieve that goal. So to achieve that goal we also need to raise our voice. So someone
we have
commented,
a question. Yeah.
একজন নতুন HIV তে আক্রান্ত হলে কাউন্সিলিং করে ART তে এনরোল করা যায়। প্রথম 2-4 দিন সেবন করে বিভিন্ন পরামর্শ প্রক্রিয়ার কারণে তাহার ART সেবন বন্ধ করে দেয়। এদের কাউন্সিলিং এর বিষয়ে আপনাদের পরিকল্পনা আছে কি? এদেশের জন্য বেশি আচ্ছা ওকে। So actually he is saying that okay, the thing is counselor and peer counselor, the two different things. Counselor is a non-PLHIV who don't have no PLHIV, HIV positive, and the peer counselor is HIV positive. That means he's a HIV positive trained person who can give the mental support to other HIV positive, that we call. So we have a plan to we made a plan last year, and that we will have so many skill building and a strategic plan for the counselor. Not only counselor, our doctors are not well trained, our doctors are not well sensitized, our counselor and the service provider, those who are like the NGO people, like the government people, those who are not sensitized, we have a special program to sensitize them. We have a special program to train them, to behave them. Like today, what happened today in IDH hospital, one of the PLHIV patient from Bikrampur, he is infected with corona today. Yesterday the report came out, and today he went to his home because of the treatment facility. It's not a treatment facility, I cannot say properly, but his condition was good, but the nurse, the nurse was treating like like an animal.
Yes, we understand.
So that's the area we are trying to develop. We have several programs, we have several plans to do this, and PLHIV network is as an advocacy organization. They are doing this type of advocacy program to the ministry, different types of ministry, different types of organization, different types of entity. So it's our part actually. So,
yes. So that brings to my next question. As you have mentioned that some of the nurses are not even properly trained how to deal with this patient. So Kishore Bhai and Munna over here, what would you suggest the normal people like us, how to deal with these people? Be courteous towards them, be empathetic, be sympathetic, or they like to be treated as normal person? So what's your views on that? Kishore Bhai, if I want to ask it from you.
Well, I'll tell you something, that for any dignified human being, any person who with some sort of dignity for himself does not want sympathy from anyone. I mean, I speak that from my behalf, and I believe that for all my young fellow brothers. Unless going to cheat vodka, unless you're a cheat and somebody who likes to beg around, and I don't think anybody likes sympathy. So empathy is something that we should have for all individuals. We should have for every living thing. That's what, as Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us as Ashraful Makhluqat, the best creation of all species. So we should respect and love and show empathy to every single living organism in this world. As far as people with HIV and PLHIV, for my advice, not advice, I mean, this is my mere expectation in today's world, in educated modern civilization, that you be looking into anybody who has HIV or any other disease. You look into it, you understand, you show the person the minimum humane response that you should show to anybody. Help another person. If there is conditions or if there is critical illness that has a barrier, then please do follow the protocol. Or if you cannot help, if you cannot show the empathy, do not engage. Nobody's asking you to engage. You might just walk away instead of showing the remorse, showing negative attitude or saying something bad things and giving them some kind of a discriminatory
create an
comment.
adverse situation.
Going
This is
stigma
not something to
discrimination.
Okay.
So I must say, I must add a few a sentence before
Yeah, please, go
finishing
ahead.
this. You know, the main problem is to change your
attitude.
attitude. Change your attitude to, you know, you have to free stigma discrimination. You have to remove this,
Exactly.
because you know the
I'll tell you
main
something,
barrier.
my friends. It's not people. I will say this to you, that people we are talking about are people living with HIV, like positive people who are victim of discrimination against people who do not have HIV. They will discriminate against people with HIV. My friends, people with HIV discriminate against people with HIV. So that's something we also have to deal with, because discrimination is not related to disease. Discrimination is not related to color. Discrimination is not related to anything apart from your way of thinking, your attitude, your mindset. So if you can cut out the discrimination, that's going to make the world a much more beautiful place. Like Gandhiji said, before we expect others to change, change begins with yourself.
Within
So
yourself,
we must be
exactly.
the face of the change that we want to see in the world.
Okay.
Yes, and in this world, anyone can be infected with the HIV, because you know there is no risk. Like COVID, it came out to everybody. So that's why we must send a message to the common people that just change your attitude and being a human. You must show humanity to all, not only for HIV people, the drug user. There are so many stigmatized people in Bangladesh, so many different kinds of community people in Bangladesh. So I think we always look to them as a human, as
Okay.
a
Thank you.
human, not
Actually, I have a question for Kishore Bhaiya, and this question will entertain in Bangla Bhaiya, that কিশোর ভাই মানে একটু লাইনে চলে গেছে। আচ্ছা, আমরা পরের কোশ্চেন থেকে কিশোর ভাইয়ের ওই কোশ্চেনের কাছে আসতেছি। জুনো ভাই, আমরা অ্যাকচুয়ালি গ্রেস টাইমে আছি। উই আর ইন গ্রেস টাইম বিকজ উই উইল ফিনিশ ইট উইদিন 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll be finishing it very shortly. So Munna,
yes.
any thoughts for the youths of today, how they can serve you or how can they contribute to these people who are living with HIV?
Okay, this is a very good question. The first thing is to develop our knowledge. We must develop our knowledge about HIV. It's not only HIV, and there are some other diseases, because you know, in a society you must take this challenge. You must face this kind of challenge. You must, because in a society you cannot separate it the people. You know, is 7,000 10,000 15,000 people, you cannot kill them. One of our minister in a previous year, they said, oh, there is a 2,000-3,000 HIV people, we kill them, go and kill them. So you cannot kill them. So the thing is, the young society, young people should
Maybe he learned his disease
like
control mechanisms from China.
yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
Yes, indeed.
so like Kishore Bhai and like us, like you guys are the. I have actually a supplement like superhero story. So you guys are the superhero, because HYD and you guys are doing a tremendous
Okay.
thing.
Thank you, Munna.
You brought us. So you guys should take the initiative how you can develop this system, HIV treatment system, social stigma discrimination system. How you can develop. We actually need to work collaboratively, and for the to work collaboratively we need to know the knowledge. We need to gain the knowledge.
That is a very deep. You're asking for a very deep and prolonged conversation on this platform, because if there was no discrimination, there would not be any religion. So
Yes.
religion's main tool to make you believe in some religion, some god, and the other one is not good enough, is discrimination. So again, that's a different conversation. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, getting rid of stigma and discrimination from our society is something that we really look forward to. But these days, knowledge is behind everything.
Because
And everybody, every household, every children, every young
I can give an
person has
example.
a mobile
I
phone
can
in
give an
their hand.
example. Kishore bhai, just a minute.
Yeah.
Why I said stigma discrimination? Because few months ago, a senior bank officials from a bank private bank in Bangladesh, I will not mention the name because there is a confidential policy, so he infected in HIV, in HIV, so the bank kicked out him.
Yeah, we have those
So
kind
that's
of
the problem,
irregularities in the HR
So that's
policies
why
as
we
well.
need to, that is the message, that you know properly about HIV and you should change your motive, you should change your mentality, you should change your thoughts about HIV, and you should work together to remove, because in a country like Bangladesh, if there is no collaborative work, then nothing will achieve, as I believe.
Okay, so before I ask my next question, I would like to ask the forgiveness of my friends who are seeing it from abroad, because this question will be in Bangla, and specifically to Kishore Bhaiya. আপনি তো অনেক কাজ করেছেন, এখন আপনি একটু আমাদেরকে বলতে পারবেন যে আপনার উপজেলার জন্য আপনি কি কি করছেন এবং কি কি করবেন, আপনার ফিউচার পরিস্থিতিতে কি আপনার কিভাবে কি কাজ করছেন?
In related to PLHIV, or is just in general?
HIV and general both, because আপনি একজন inspiration to us also, so as a young politician.
Well, if you knew my constituency geographically, that would give you a much better idea about what I see as a vision for my constituency in the near future. When Upazila Porishad was created just after Bangladesh liberation, the whole idea of Upazila Porishad is a similar concept of city council. A city council should be independent financially and also infrastructure wise. So
Kishore bhai,
and
Kishore
if
bhai,
anything,
you can
they
answer
should
this
be able to
question in
contribute.
Bangla, because Kishore bhai, you can
Oh.
answer this question in
Okay.
Bangla, because your
Sorry.
local people is also watching this live. So
ইংলিশে
that's
দিয়ে
why,
বাংলা বলে দিতে পারেন, প্রবলেম নাই আমাদের কোনো।
আমার কমিউনিটির লোকজন,
না, আমি স্টপ করি এই কারণে যেহেতু বাইরের অনেকে দেখছে এবং তাদেরও একটু জানা উচিত আমাদের পলিটিক্যাল সিচুয়েশন এবং সিস্টেম নিয়ে, এর জন্য
আমি খুব গর্বিত ভাবে বলতে পারি যে আমার দেশের ভাইয়েরাও আজকাল আমার ইংলিশ, আমার ভাঙা সেকেন্ড কোয়ালিটি ইংলিশ বোঝার মতো ক্ষমতা রাখে আমি বিশ্বাস করি। নাহলে তারা মোবাইল ফোনে বসে স্মার্টফোনে এই প্ল্যাটফর্মে এসে জয়েন করার মতো যোগ্যতা থাকতো না, আই বিলিভ। সো এগেন থ্যাংক ইউ মুন্না ভাই ফর ভালো পয়েন্ট আউট দিচ্ছেন। তো যেটা বলতেছিলাম যে আমাদের উপজেলাকে আমি একটা মুরাদনগরকে বাংলাদেশের সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ উপজেলা বানানোর স্বপ্ন অবশ্যই সবসময় দেখি, এবং এটা সফল করার জন্য যে সকল আমার প্রকল্প বাস্তবায়ন করা দরকার, আমরা ইতিমধ্যে আমার উপজেলার জন্য আমি একটা ডেল্টা প্ল্যান নিজেদের উদ্যোগে প্রস্তুত করেছি। আমি গতকালকেই আমাদের জাইকা, যে জাপান ইনকর্পোরেশন আমাদের বাংলাদেশের সাথে আছে, এজেন্সি আছে, সো ওই কোম্পানি, ওই এজেন্সি থেকে আমরা মুরাদনগর, কুমিল্লা ডিভিশনের, চিটং ডিভিশনের ভিতরে অনলি উপজেলা আমরা ইলেক্টেড হয়েছি। আমি উপজেলা চেয়ারম্যান হওয়ার আগে আমাদের স্কোরিং ছিল, জায়গায় একটা স্কোরিং বেসিসে সিলেক্টিভ কিছু উপজেলাকে তারা ফান্ড দেয় 50 লাখ টাকা করে ডেভেলপমেন্টের জন্য। আমার আগে ছিল 31, আমি উপজেলা চেয়ারম্যান হওয়ার পরে বিগত 1 বছরের কাজের ভিত্তিতে আমাদের পয়েন্ট স্কোর এবার আসছে 83। তো আমরা বাংলাদেশের 339টা উপজেলার ভিতরে বাংলাদেশ ইজ ইন নাম্বার 5 পজিশন, মানে মুরাদনগর ইজ ইন নাম্বার 5 পজিশন, which is আমার জন্য একটা প্রাউড অ্যাচিভমেন্ট। আমি গতকালকে জানছি, আমি এখনই ইমেল চেক করে অ্যাকচুয়ালি জাপানিজ যেসব কাউন্টারপার্ট আছে ওদের কনগ্রাচুলেটিং ইমেল গুলো পাচ্ছিলাম, এই জন্য কথাটা আমার মনে আসলো। বাট ইটস again a combined effort from all my officers.
Congratulations on that. That's a very good thing you did.
For the Japanese people, it was also a very surprising. এই জন্য ওরা আমাদের স্টোরিটাকে রেপ্লিকেট করে পৃথিবীর অন্যান্য জায়গায় যেখানে জায়গা ফান্ড করে বা জায়গা কাজ করে থাকে, সেখানে এটাকে সাকসেস স্টোরি হিসেবে রেপ্লিকেট করবে যে আমরা এখানে কি কাজ করছি। তো আমার যে প্ল্যান ছিল সেটা হচ্ছে মুরাদনগর যে সারা বাংলাদেশের যে উপজেলাগুলোকে যে সিস্টেমে হওয়া উচিত, যে আমার উপজেলা থেকে আমার যে ফসল হবে, আমার যে প্রোডাকশন হবে, আমার যে কর্মসংস্থান হবে, সেখান থেকে আমার শিক্ষিত ছেলেপেলেরা আমার এলাকাতেই কর্মসংস্থান পাবে, আমার কৃষকরা আমার এলাকাতেই কৃষকরা ফসল ফলায়, সেখান থেকে সরাসরি রপ্তানি যোগ্য ফসল আমরা করতে পারলে সেখান থেকে করার ব্যবস্থা হবে। So we could enter the economy directly ourselves. We can be a sub economy ourselves অ্যান্ড দেন আমাদের যেটা দরকার সারপ্লাস, আমরা সারপ্লাসটাকে ন্যাশনাল গভর্নমেন্টকে আমরা সাপোর্ট দিতে পারি। Even so, in the greatest extent, যদি একদিন সম্ভব হয়, we would like to produce our own electricity as well. ঠিক যেভাবে আমরা অনেক স্কটল্যান্ডেও আছে যারা সাব ডিস্ট্রিক্ট এরিয়াগুলা উইন্ড মিলের মাধ্যমে তারা পাওয়ার জেনারেট করে এবং ন্যাশনাল গ্রিডকেও তারা সাপোর্ট দেয়। তো এরকম চিন্তা ভাবনা আমার মুরাদনগর নিয়ে আছে, কারণ আমার মুরাদনগরে আমি যখন ইংল্যান্ডে পড়ালেখা করি, আমি আমার সৌভাগ্য হয়েছিল ব্রিটিশ মিউজিয়ামে যাওয়ার জন্য একবার। সেখানে আমি হিস্ট্রি বুক ঘেটে দেখতে পেলাম মুরাদনগরে একটা বাজার আছে, যে বাজারটা ইস্ট ইন্ডিয়া কোম্পানি রাইস ট্রেডিং এর জন্য ইউজ করতো অ্যাজ এ ট্রেডিং রুট ফর রাইস। সো ইস্ট ইন্ডিয়ার ওই রুটটাকে ফলো করে নদী পথে আমার উপজেলার সাথে কানেক্ট করে, সেটা আর কি আমাদের নেইবারিং এরিয়া ত্রিপুরা, আগরতলা, এই সকল ইন্ডিয়ার যেসব অঙ্গরাজ্য আছে সেখানকার চিফ মিনিস্টারদের সাথে আমি কিছু কথা বলে বায়োলেটারাল ডায়ালগ করার চেষ্টা করছি এবং সফলও হয়েছি কয়েক ব্যাপারে, যে আমাদের প্রোডাক্ট গুলাকে আমরা ঢাকায় এনে চিটং পোর্টের মাধ্যমে এক্সপোর্ট না করে আমি আমার মুরাদনগর উপজেলা থেকে সরাসরি কি আমি ত্রিপুরা বা আগরতলা, যেহেতু আমাদের বর্ডারিং এরিয়া এরা, ওইখানে এক্সপোর্ট করতে পারি কিনা। ইন দ্যাট কেস আমাদের প্রডিউস গুলা খুব ইজিলি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল মার্কেট এন্টার করতে পারবে, আর আমার মুরাদনগর ইকোনমি ডেভেলপ করবে। আর শিক্ষা দীক্ষার হার থেকে আমরা কুমিল্লা সবসময় সারা বাংলাদেশের মধ্যে সবচেয়ে অগ্রাধিকার পজিশন ছিলাম। এক সময় কবি ঠাকুর বলেছিল যে যখন ত্রিপুরার ইয়ে ছিল, আমাদের রাজ্যের রাজধানী ছিল কুমিল্লা, তখন বলা হতো যে যদি কুমিল্লা এগিয়ে যাবে বাংলাদেশ। তো সেই একই ডায়লগে আমি বিশ্বাস করি যে আমার মুরাদনগর যদি এগিয়ে যাবে বাংলাদেশ। তো সেই মুরাদনগরকে বিনির্মাণের জন্য বঙ্গবন্ধুর আদর্শ বুকে লালন করে আমাদের মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী জননেত্রী শেখ হাসিনা যে ভিশন 2021 আছে, যে মধ্যমায়ের দেশ এবং উত্তরোত্তর উন্নত দেশের অবকাঠামোতে আমরা অবতরণ করব, সেই আশীর্বাদ আমি সবসময় বুকে ধারণ করি। আমার মুরাদনগরে শিক্ষিত ছেলেপেলের সংখ্যা অনেক বেশি। আমাদের মুরাদনগর বাংলাদেশের সবচেয়ে উচ্চ পর্যায়ের রেমিটেন্স কালেকশনের জন্য আমরা সক্ষম হয়েছি। ইভেন কি জাকাতের টাকাও আমরা সরকারিভাবে যেটা আমরা কালেকশন করি, সেটাতেও আমরা বাংলাদেশের মধ্যে অন্যতম পজিশনে থাকি। অনেক শিক্ষিত, অনেক ধনাঢ্য ব্যক্তিত্বরা আমাদের মুরাদনগর উপজেলার উর্বর মাটির থেকে এসেছে, এটা আমার গর্বের বিষয়। সেখানে একসময় বিদ্রোহী কবি নজরুল আমাদের এখানে নার্গিসের যে তার প্রেম কাহিনী, সেটাও আমাদের মুরাদনগর দৌলতপুরেই হয়েছিল এবং সেখানে তার সেই বাসর রাতের খাটটাও আমাদের এখানে এখনো আছে। বাট এগেন ভেরি সরি টু সে ইটস নট ওয়েল প্রিজার্ভড। যেটা আমি মনে করি একটা ন্যাশনাল হেরিটেজ সাইট হওয়া উচিত, ইউনেস্কো এখানে আসা উচিত। তো সেই জিনিসগুলা করতে আমার অনেক ইচ্ছা। মুরাদনগরের অনেক গ্যাস আমাদের ন্যাচারাল অ্যাসেট হিসাবে আছে, কিন্তু আনফরচুনেটলি মুরাদনগরে এখন গভর্নমেন্ট পলিসি হওয়ার কারণে ডোমেস্টিকলি আমরা গ্যাস ইউজ করতে পারি না। তো আমাদের গ্রামের মানুষের দাবি হচ্ছে গ্যাসের চুলা, আমাদের দেশের গ্যাস সারা বাংলাদেশ চলে, তিতাস গ্যাসের ওয়ান অফ দ্য লার্জেস্ট সাপ্লায়ার হচ্ছে মুরাদনগরের গ্যাস ফিল্ড গুলা। তো আমাদের স্বপ্ন যে মুরাদনগরে গ্যাস দিয়ে আমরা হয়তো মুরাদনগরের মানুষকে সেবা দিতে পারবো। আমরা ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়ালাইজেশন যদি করতে পারি, মুরাদনগরের ইন্ডাস্ট্রি হলে শিল্প খাতে, সেখানে আমাদের ছেলেপেলেরা কর্মসংস্থান পাবে। আমাদের মুরাদনগরের উন্নয়নশীল যে সকল প্রতিভাবান ছেলেপেলেরা আছে, তারা তাদের প্রতিভা মুরাদনগরের ফসলে, মুরাদনগরের সম্পদ আমরা মুরাদনগরে রাখতে পারবো বলে বিশ্বাস করি। এরকমই আশাবাদ, এরকমই চিন্তা ভাবনা আমরা মুরাদনগরকে একদিন ঢালাওভাবে সাজিয়ে বাংলাদেশের সর্বশ্রেষ্ঠ উপজেলা বিনির্মাণ করব। এবং মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রীর সেই রকম আশীর্বাদ আমাদের উপর আছে বলে আমরা এখনো পর্যন্ত ধীর গতিতে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছি। যতদিন পর্যন্ত মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী শেখ হাসিনা থাকবে, যতদিন পর্যন্ত বাংলাদেশ থাকবে, মুরাদনগর এগিয়ে যাবে অবশ্যই আমি বিশ্বাস করি।
ধন্যবাদ কিশোর ভাই, অত্যন্ত চমৎকার। আপনার কথাগুলো শুনে বেশ ভালো লাগছে এবং মনে হচ্ছে যে আমিও পলিটিক্স জয়েন করি, তাহলে কিছু একটা দিতে পারবো দেশকে। কারণ কি আমরা যখন চিন্তা করি পলিটিশিয়ানদের কথা, তখন আসলে তেমন একটি এটা আমাদের হয়ে আসছে। আমি কাউকে ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি দোষ দিব না, যে
বিজ্জলের কথা মনে পড়ে, বিজ্জল
বলতে চাচ্ছিলাম না, বাট থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ ফর মেকিং ইট মোর ইজিয়ার। সো হ্যাঁ, বাট আপনাদেরকে যখন দেখি এবং ইয়াং পলিটিশিয়ানসদেরকে যখন দেখি, তখন মনে হয় যে না, টাইম হ্যাজ চেঞ্জ, উই হ্যাভ ইভলভড এন্ড উই আর গোয়িং থ্রু চেঞ্জ দ্যাট ইজ নেসেসারি এট দিস মোমেন্ট, এন্ড আওয়ার কান্ট্রি ইজ ইন গুড হ্যান্ডস এন্ড দ্য ফিউচার ইজ ইন গুড হ্যান্ডস। দেখে খুবই ভালো লাগে এবং স্পেশালি আপনার সাথে যখন আজকে ইন্টারাকশন করলাম, আরো ভালো লাগছে এটা শুনে। So we are at the end of our show, almost at the end of our show. I would just like ask one last question: that how is your network aligned to the Vision 2030 of the government for the HIV handling situation?
Okay, thank you. The last question. Our goal is to create our community people as a, you know, as a productive people. You know, we are focusing on their financial development, their social development, their skill, so that they can be skilled people. You know, the people we are trying to make them skilled. Like the survey right now, we are doing a survey with UNH collaboratively. It's called PLHIV COVID-19 PLHIV need assessment survey, and the data collector is all the we are using all the data collector from HIV patient, not the outsider, because we train them and we are using them as a data collector. It's a development. So we are more focused on the development of this particular community people. If they can develop themselves, then the society and then the nation can develop, you know. And after that the goal will be achieved. So that is our main motto, and to achieve this motto we are actually collaboratively working with UN agencies, the other INGOs, NGOs, and Bangladesh government, different types of government entities, especially thanks to NASP, National AIDS and STD program, because we are the major part working with them, and they are giving priority to us, so working with them and the other organization like UNAIDS and the other UN, UNICEF. UNICEF is playing a major role. Save the Children, ICDDRB. All the stakeholders are supporting us, and we are trying to working collaboratively with all. So
Okay.
that's how, and that is our plan to make them actually skillful, make the community skillful, make them financially developed, or make them educate, you know.
Okay.
So our focus is to make sure the treatment facility, and is to build them as a productive nation.
Okay, Zunubhai, before ending this one, I have a question to Munna and Kishore Bhai, because they are leader in their own sector. That
Yes.
HYD is working in 4 countries like Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and right now we're working in United Kingdom as a small charity under England and Wales law. So we are organizing different conference, which is mainly specially model UN conference. And our community is like from the class 9, 10 to who are in undergrad or postgrad students especially. And most of the time they are belonging upper class family, because the conference fee is high, or the society actually we work, it's more more advanced society rather than the poor society of the country. But we have a gap between the root and the top actually, which we find from our organization. So what will be the suggestion from you, from Kishore Bhai, because Kishore Bhai see the root and he was in UK and he know the difference between this. So what will be the suggestion for this young generation who think in different way but who follow our Facebook page?
I will tell you, I'll give you a very small example. Very recently, since this COVID-19 pandemic crisis has hit our country, you know, we have in our country 3 major cycles for rice cultivation. Boro, Amun, Aush. We have 3 major rotations, crop rotation. And just during the COVID-19 early stages, there was the time when Aush rice was supposed to be cultivated.
Yes.
You used to harvest it around that time. And due to COVID-19 and lack of mobilization of workers from the North Bengal, the rest of the places where, so there was a crisis of people who would cut this rice and harvest it for the farmers. I did invest in some mechanized harvesting. We bought a couple of combine harvesters for my upojala that farmers are using it for free of cost, to ensure their crop is getting home. But me, myself, as well as many other Chhatro League and Jubo League and every other political leader, some of them are doing it for photo session, some of them are doing for their other reasons. But I myself had the opportunity to be able to go there. Now, obviously, from my background, you know that I left from Bangladesh when I was in class 6. +5 to pursue my education in the UK, and I finished my post-graduation and doctorate, and then I returned to Bangladesh. So that's quite a long period of time I spent in the UK. So when I came, I never had the, even though I was very connected to my people, to my village. My parents would take me every year, 2-3 times for Eid, and my father would sometimes take me with him to the political programs. I did have a lot of connection, but I never actually connected to my root in the real sense, as to where I was overwhelmed to see how a farmer has to work for 3 months tirelessly, and this work looks very easy. I mean, I participated in just harvesting the rice. There's just one step of cutting the rice and
That
then
was the
tying
fun
them
one.
up in big what you call this, they call it a boja. You call it in tie them up in a big pile, and you stack it up on your head, and you take it to the place, and you hit it until the rice comes out. It's called marai kora, and then you boil it, and then you get the rice out of it. So this cutting process looks very easy, but it is very difficult. It is a very difficult, a very energy intensive process, very laborious work. Just to get us one grain of rice, a farmer has to spend thousands of drops of his sweat and his blood to make sure that we get that one rice in our plate, maybe in a 5-star hotel in Westin or Radisson, or maybe in a poor guy's house or in a rich man's dining table. All the rice is pretty much same, coming from each individual droplet of all those farmers working out in the paddy fields, night in, day in, day out, in all kind of weather. So my advice to all these fantastic people of your platform, trying to do good things for the youth, for our generation, for the future, I would say connect to your roots. If you want to know, if you want to bridge the distance, bridge the gap between the top and the bottom, you must connect to the bottom. You cannot sit at the top and say, how will I connect to the bottom instead of making the jump? You need to get to your roots, find out where you're from, find out where your grandfather is from. These days, a lot of these modern kids, they don't even know where their great grandfather was from, unless they're, obviously, if your great grandfather was a prime minister or a minister or an MP or some rich man, then you'd be very proudly saying about it. There'll be portraits and pictures. But a lot of us, a lot of our elite class as well, you would know, especially in developing country like Bangladesh, maybe if you go back 2 generations, they were not as elite. Only maybe father became rich. My grandfather was in the village. My grandfather was an average farmer family. My father became a businessman when he came to Dhaka, and now I became a PhD and whatever from England. So this is how it progresses. But because I was in UK and I was born in a rich family, I did not forget where my father was born and where he came from. So that's the trick, to be able to offer something. Internet will offer you many things. Education will open windows for you for the reaching out to the sky and going to the bottom of the sea. But you have to open the windows of your mind and reach deep down where your root is. If you find out your own root, you should be able to connect with everybody else's. That's my advice.
Thank you
I
very much.
would like to add few things with
That
Kishore
was a
bhai.
very wonderful piece of advice and a very valuable piece of advice, because if you forget your roots, you're no one. You need to have your roots. You need to know your roots, and you need to know where you belong to, where your family belong to. Unless and until that, we can't end this parity. Yes, Munna.
Okay,
Closing
so
comments.
as I remember, in the history of Bangladesh, any kind of model UN organization or this type of organization introduced HIV/AIDS for the first time, and that was the HYD, House of Youth Dialogue, introduced HIV issue in a model UN, as I remember. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
with the organization in 2-3 years ago, along with UNAIDS organization.
So the thing is, my advice is this type of youth, as Kishore bhai said, that we are youth and we have a time to do something for our locality, our society, and to engage this. And there are several types of program with HIV in HIV sector program, for youth program, a lot of program. So I think, as I mentioned before, that HYD is a global platform right now, so they can became an idol for some youth. So HYD needs to take steps. But I think in the recent past time, we didn't see, I'm sure that we didn't see anyone is talking about, so many people talked about corona, COVID-19 and other disease and other crises, but no one talked about HIV/AIDS issue with corona disease. So that's the different thing. That's the thing HYD is doing. So I would like to suggest the young people do something different and do something productive for your community and yourself, so that the other people can get help from it. Because everybody is doing the common thing. You have to be uncommon. You have to be exceptional, out of the box.
True, Munna, very true. So before we end the show, I would just like to remind our viewers, I'm sure you are all aware, but then even, the lockdowns and self-isolation imposed to fight the COVID-19 pandemic have affected everyone, even the persons living with HIV. So a key population and people living with HIV, they're included in this as well. Prolonged isolation and limited contact with the family and friends have increased anxiety and depression and impacted quality of life, as well as increased the needs of mental health services. So let me remind you that if you know that someone with HIV is living beside you, if you do not want to interact with them, perfectly fine. But if you interact with them, be courteous and be normal. As Kishore Bhai have already stated, nobody wants sympathy, but everybody wants the courtesy, the minimum courtesy that we live in this society. So with that, I would like to end this program and would like to thank Dr. Asanul Kishore Bhai for coming, and Munna for stating the stories and the wonderful deeds you all are doing. Thank you very much on behalf of HYD. Mr. President, you may end the show. Thank you.
Thank HYD.
Okay,
We
before
also thank HYD for organizing this wonderful program. And we hope that HYD will bring this type of program more and more.
Thank you.
And the show, we're talking about all the audience that in the coming weeks we are coming with another organization with a guest that we forget about the tuition teacher, that who give you tuition in our house, you kick him out when coronavirus come, but he was the fighting for his career. So we're bringing another organization who fight for surviving of that kind of teacher who give the tuition, but now they are in crisis and you are not allowing your teacher in your home. Just make a call to your teacher that how are you, sir? Because hopefully in the next week we'll talk different teacher who are giving tuition and they are in problem right now in the mentioned name how are you, sir program. So thank you all watching this program, and HOD believe that there is a concept in our country like one class thing that they are murgi and another class thing they are cat. We want to actually remove this concept, the murgi and cat. We are all one is cat. So this program is in the aim to make the connection, make the bridge, as well as bring the superheroes of our societies who are doing great for this country. Thank you, Munna, and thank you, Kishore Bhai, and respect from HOD what you are doing from your stage. Actually, that is a great thing. Salute to you, Munna and Kishore Bhai. Actually, you are one of our superheroes. Actually, you are one of our idol.
Thank you very much, HYD as well. Thank you very much for your fantastic work. Like I said, we are all superheroes together. Without each other, nobody is a hero.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.